Good morning from day 44. So I'm just here about a half mile from the base of Unaka Mountain at this quiet campsite, unofficial campsite. I had it all to myself, but there's so many spots here. Most of them are a little bit sloped at an angle, but I found one that was okay. It was workable. There's even a giant fire pit here, which is has some signs of a giant bonfire. It's kind of scary. Some char. You can see the charred area is a little bit bigger than the actual fire circle, which is a little scary. Anyway, yeah, someone's had some fun times here in the past. But yeah, today's plan is to do. I think around another 13-mile day would be good, or maybe press on a little bit farther. I think towards the end of the day, I'm going to do the same thing. And basically, what I did yesterday was filled up with water and then hiked in, about a mile or so. And that gives you like a lot of freedom of options actually, because like there's actually more campsites than you think, especially when you see it on the Far Out app, which I use. And they say, oh, there's a campsite zero point 0.3 miles north of this water source, or, things like that. Like they're really handy tips, but like there's even more that aren't even accounted for on those comments or in the app or on maps. Um, which is nice. So it's nice to have options. But yeah, yesterday I was really thankful. I didn't want to jinx it. I was going to do a video because I was so happy when I realized it, but my back never really gave me trouble yesterday. So I think that's a sign that it's healing. so so I'm really thankful for that. Um, so I'm hoping for the same today. Knees still hanging in there. My left knee, which is the first one to give me problems with the IT band syndrome, knee is seeming pretty normal actually. My right knee was talking to me a little bit yesterday, and when it was just like the backpack thing. I'd made this like I listened to it immediately, and I immediately made the adjustment rather than trying to push further, which I think is important. What I realized, because like when I just push, it just progressively gets more and more painful to the point that I need to take an ibuprofen. But if I listen to it immediately and then make the adjustment, that seems to actually help. So the adjustment in this case, what I've been doing is, since it's only one knee, I've been leading with the knee that's less painful. So in this case, I switched back to my leading with my left, and also turning my whole body when I, especially going down descents and down steps and whatnot, I turn my body in that direction and then leading with the left. Um, Kind of like if you've ever seen videos of like samurai running, they had to run kind of like sideways because they had their swords and whatnot, kind of awkward. Um, that's kind of what I'm doing going downhill. And that seems to really help. And what I realized the other day too is that actually, I think that might be helpful, but I think when I do that, it's actually forcing my whole body to stand up straight and my back to be rigid. Um, Almost like it feels unnaturally. But you're standing with your back up straight and you're going downhill. So even so, I've tried doing that without even stepping sideways, and that actually does help. I think I mentioned that before, but the awkward thing about that is I can't really look down very easily because I need to look for foot placement at the same time. So I end up going kind of like, oh, like kind of like, this is this is weird, but whatever is the least painful way to go about it. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, that got me through. But also yesterday was a lot of uphill, so a lot of cardio, so a lot of not knees, but mostly quads and cardio. Um, Yesterday, according to my Fitbit, it was the second hardest day since the first day, which was the approach trail of Springer Mountain, which was that one was like over 600. I think the cardio score yesterday was over 400, which is I think that's the first time. Usually it's below 400 for sure. Usually it's in the, I don't know, 250, 300 range every day. And that's a good day. It might be because I'm going more miles, a little more miles to trying to ease into it. But yeah, anyway, all that being said, a lot of talking to say. I think today will be a 13-mile or so day. And yeah, it was hot yesterday. It got hotter and had to drink a ton of water yesterday. So I'm expecting today to be kind of similar. Um, but anyway, right now it's pretty pleasant. Um, but yeah, I think I should leave while it's still pleasant. So I gotta move on here. But yeah, you can see I already got my pack and my poles ready to go, and I just have to pack up water. And I think yeah, I already finished my coffee. I got my snacks in the little holder there. Um, got some clean water with some electrolyte packet added in. Looking forward to that. So yeah, I think it's time to go. So onward. A little bit of road walk here. This is a detour, but it's an official detour. So it has some temporary white blazes up on the trees every so often. But it's a detour because of Hurricane Helene damage, which is a few years back, and still working on the official trail. I think it's actually like hikeable, but they're I think they're putting some finishing touches on it and working on stuff. And basically, there's like heavy machinery there that's loud, so it's not a good idea to have a bunch of hikers come through while they're operating all that stuff. It's a danger. Um, but yeah, this road doesn't look like it's like super used, although it's kind of improved road. Like, doesn't look too rough. But I haven't seen any cars come by yet. It's even though it's Sunday, I was seeing a lot of cars yesterday. It was surprising. Every so often, a few miles or so, you come across our little road and people are doing their thing. They got their big trucks and everything coming out for some fun. Anyway, before I forget, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I was thinking of my tent last night. So I arrived at this empty campsite. Um, by the way, the one up at the summit was pretty empty too. I mean, I kind of left a little later, so that might have been it. But there were also spider webs I was walking through. Little tiny, just one strand, not like a full web. But it was kind of a sign that no one had camped there. But anyway, it's like a peaceful spot, and I kind of don't really like. I kind of want like one other person around, but I don't want it to be super noisy. I don't necessarily like being completely by myself. But in this case, I was kind of okay. I was feeling pretty comfortable actually. Pretty happy listening to music there in my tent. And I could smell, I remember I could distinctly smell, the pine leaves. And there was what is it called? Like eastern hemlock trees all around. Just a really peaceful, quiet spot. And just feeling kind of happy and like maybe a tiny bit lonely, but I mean, the music was just making me feel good. Good smells, good peaceful area. So I was really enjoying that. Um, even though I was just alone. And I'm getting more and more comfortable with that. I'm gonna put my earplugs in. I want to hope for the best. Keep my smellables, my food and things well away from my tent, tied to a tree. I'm so enjoying that too, like not having to do the PCT hang, like throwing a rock over a branch, finding a branch. Like there's plenty of small tree trunks to attach my Atotech bear resistant bag to. I'm gonna switch over. This is a little nicer over here. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, I was just really enjoying the moment. And I wanted to remember that because I'll probably never be back at that campsite in my life. It reminds me of some like hotel rooms. What Anthony Bourdain calls like an anonymous hotel room. Just like place you're at for like one night. And you appreciate it. And it's kind of sad. You never see it again. Oh, these are the temporary white blazes here. So they'll take them down when they reroute, but this is just the temporary reroute. Anyway, I was just appreciating the moment and the temporariness of everything, and yeah, appreciating what I had there. Always thankful for that, and yeah, I'm feeling really good today. So I think I had a restful sleep, and I got plenty of food. I still have 3 dinner meals, so I kind of skipped dinner last night. I was to be honest, I kind of gorged myself for breakfast. I had like a whole bag of pretzel pieces, just kind of my guilty pleasure. But that thing is like over 1,000 calories, and I had that for breakfast. Not a very nutritious breakfast, but that was like a calorie bomb. And by the way, like I take vitamins to supplement on top of that because I know that stuff is not giving me nutrition, but it's giving me calories, which I need. Someone was also saying one time, a long time ago, I think in Franklin, I mentioned it before, but they said, oh, you need, for every so miles, you need protein, which is kind of a given, but you also need carbohydrates. And like little gummy bears and things like that are a good source of carbohydrate. So I've been really kind of addicted to these electrolyte supplement gummy things. They have some that are like sour. Been getting those, like eating those every day. And also I got a bunch of like little fruit snacks. I'm pretty happy. I was kind of craving them for a little while. Just want to keep them in my mouth and roll them around while I'm walking. Kind of nice. Anyway, it's pretty nice. Not too bad for a detour. Just road walk for a ways, but I know there's some brutal steps coming up. Some temporary brutal steps. So we'll see how bad that is. Anyway, onward.